Hello and welcome everybody, and thank you guys for joining me again. My name is Wilkie and I'm here with another Lost Ark guide. Today's topic is going to be item level, increasing item level, how your upgrading process works, and a few other things that come into play. Due to the fact that this is a relatively broad topic, I will be using multiple characters to showcase a variety of things. There's one thing I will not be able to show you. However, I will mention that fact or mention that mechanic at the end of the video. So keep your eyes peeled for that. Nonetheless, if you understand how these mechanics work, you're pretty much good to go, and you understand how this works. As usual, table of contents is going to be in the description below, so if you want to jump around the chapters or only looking for specific information, feel free to take a peek into the description or the bar at the bottom here. Without further ado, let's start with the first subject, and that is why you should actually care about your item level, or why it's such a big factor in Lost Ark. So, first of all, what is item level, or how you find that out? That's very simple. By opening your character menu, this number here is your item level. It is determined by having all of these 6 slots occupied, and it takes the average of these. For example, since all of the equipment pieces I have are 870, my average item level is the same thing. Taking that one off, you can see that my average dropped by that number. So basically saying the average of these 6 slots makes up your item level. Accessories do not play any role when it comes to item level, so only these 6 pieces are the thing that make up your item level. There's 2 obvious reasons why you should be doing or focusing on increasing that. The first one is the general RPG archetype thing. Higher item level means you're going to be stronger, you're going to be faster, you're going to be better, you're going to be more beefy, you're going to hit harder. So I think that does not really need any explanation. The more important thing when it comes to Lost Ark is that this number here is going to be the gatekeeper that will allow you or will not allow you to do certain content. For example, if we're going to take a look at Chaos Dungeons, right now I'm able to do these here, but I will not be able to do these here. Actually, I will be able to do these here, but for example, I will not be able to do these here because it specifically says here required item level 915. These here, they do say that you should have 900 item level. However, the requirement is only 870. So technically you can be able to do those. However, I would fail hard doing that. These, on the other hand, I am not able to do it. See, for example, item level is not, I do need to finish a quest and I don't have Energy of Order, but this is what keeps me from doing these. So this is basically why you should be focusing on that. On to the next part is how you actually increase your item level and how this general process works. So going on to the second topic, and that is upgrading your gear. First of all, the NPC you're looking for is this hammer icon on the map. It's located in every major capital city, very similarly to as I showed you in the Ecclesia guide. This is called Equipment Rubric. Obviously, if you're playing on the Korean or Japanese server, translation is most likely going to be different, but the icon is the same. So going to these NPCs, you have 2, or actually 3, but the talk option is not really important. We're having the recycling and the reclamation option. For the first part, which I'd like to call enhancing or improving your equipment, this one is important. So obviously your screen is going to be looking different depending on your class, depending on your tier of your items. Right now, I do have tier 2 equipment on my characters. I don't have a character with tier 1 equipment at the moment. I still have tier 1 equipment actually on this one. And you can see that it says next to the gear score in brackets, it says rank 1, which is tier 1. And for these stuffs, it says rank 2, which is tier 2, which right now is the most or the highest tier we have in Russia. Like I said, the mechanics work one-to-one identically. The only difference is going to be the type of materials. As you can see here, they need Javanna crystals and emeralds. And these here need crystals of Sirion and great Sirion sapphires. So like I said, mechanics are very similar in that regard. Enough blabbering. Once you're at this place, what you have to do is, first of all, you have to treat your piece of equipment. For that matter, we're going to be using that spear. I'm going to be clicking on treatment, click on max. It takes sapphire shards. If it would be tier 1, it would take emerald shards. Takes a bit of shillings. Click on treatment, boom. Once the piece of equipment is at 100% treatment or degree of processing, you will have these 3 arrows pointing up, signaling that you can upgrade this piece of equipment to the next level. The reclamation button will now be able to be clickable, and you can see this is the required amount of materials. So we need 3 crystals of Sirion, 6 great sapphires, and 336 large weapon crystals. On top of that, we need gold, shillings, and sapphire shards again. We're gonna click on that. Clicking on that opens a new window showing you your success rate and additional materials that you can be using in order to improve the chance. Due to the fact that this is still relatively low, I highly suggest not spending any items here. 60%, we're just gonna click it and see what happens. And boom, that item is now level 7. So the item level increased by 5. And taking a look at my item level now, back then we were at flat 870.00. Now we're at 870.83 because this item level rose a little bit. And same thing here again, due to the fact that we upgraded it, we would now have to treat it again in order to come to the upgrading process. So this is all you need to know on how to improve your equipment. Like I said, this is equivalent. The only difference between weapons and armor is weapons need large shielding crystals, armor needs weapon crystals. For tier 1, those are called small. Like I said, the mechanics are always the same. This is how we work on upgrading your gear and increasing the item level itself. So coming on to the third part, and that is actually transferring your enhancements over to new or better types of equipment. We're still working with the same NPC here, but this time we're actually going to click on recycling here. And what this does, it lets you take your enhancement or your upgrading level and put it onto a new piece of equipment. To elaborate this one a little bit further, I do have to do a little bit of a wider swing here, because each tier has 3 different stages. For what I mean in that part here is, if you go to this NPC, you can see that I have 3 different numbers here. It starts at 302, goes to 340, goes to 385. All of these are still tier 1, however, they are getting increasingly better. So what that means is you will, on a fresh server, or if you do a fresh character, start with the lowest tier 1 equipment, go to the medium tier 1 equipment, all the way up to the final tier 1 equipment, at which point you have to do the jump to tier 2. Very similarly, we currently have items or equipment that starts at 840. So if you take a look at this one here, Magma Forged Spear starts at 840, which is the exact same counterpart technically to my Flame Forged Spear. However, it's not epic, but it's legendary, meaning it has overall better stats and is in a better shape. So how you go about that and transferring between the same type of equipment just for a better quality or rarity, you're gonna go to recycling, and we're gonna take one of these. Since this one has slightly better quality, we're gonna take this one. The quality, or the grade in this scenario, determines on how good the stats are on this piece of equipment. For example, the weapon, it has something called additive effect additional damage. So if you take a look at these, they both have 6,498 weapon attack, because it's the same item. However, the additional damage on this one is slightly higher because the grade is a little bit better. So we're gonna take this one, and now you can see that the game tells me this is a material that I can be using. So this is something that we'll be using. This will be destroyed in the process. This is the item we're putting these stats onto, and this is the result. So at the end, you're gonna be having another piece of equipment with better additional damage and potentially higher stats overall. So definitely something that you should be aware of. You will always start off with a blue type of gear, then go to purple type of gear, go to orange type of gear, and at the very end, you're going to be going for artifact or red type of gear. So we're going to do the process here one time for my Lance Master and transitioning onto that spear. Boom, this one's guaranteed. There's no failure. You can see there's no percentages, no anything. Just takes a few shillings. Boom, we're going to click on that. It tells you if successful, the auxiliary material will be destroyed. So these things here will be destroyed. Yes, definitely. Boom. And now we have a +7 or level 7 orange spear, which will give us better stats. And where did it end up? There it is. Boom. Same item level as before, just a little bit better stats overall. So this is how you transfer your item level or your equipment stage, if you will, between the same type of tier, but to different quality levels. Like I said, we went from purple to orange. We can do the same thing here again. Actually, let's just take a quick look due to the fact that I still have some items left here. Maybe we have a good quality. This helmet looks pretty good. 75 quality is a pretty good roll. So we're gonna see where this one is. No, that's not this one. That one. That one. That one? Where is that? There we go. So this one has the highest quality, and we can compare these two again. This one has Vitality 110, Magic Defense 175, Physical Defense 181. And this one has much higher physical, magical defense, and vitality. So as you can see, the grade actually does matter. Boom, same thing here. And like I said, this is going to be similar all over the place. So the only things that are going to be changing are physical defense, magical defense, and vitality. Boom, we're going to click on that one once more. Another piece. That is done. And there we are, boom, back to the same item level we were before. As you can see, this process is iterative, and you naturally want to do this for all of your pieces of equipment to go from all the way blue over to purple, orange, and at the very end, red, which is the artifact gear, the currently highest tier available in the game. Coming to the final technical part that I can show you, actually, we're going to be hopping onto my Devil Hunter here because he has different types of equipment, and I can show you the next step that would be approaching on my Lance Master as well. So the big thing to take away here is, very similarly to what you've seen on the Lance Master, due to the fact that my Devil Hunter has higher item level, he will now see different equipment choices. And exactly in the same fashion, if you remember, the Lance Master started at 302. The tier 2 equipment starts at 802, the second version goes to 840 or starts at 840, and the third one starts at 885. So this is the last tier 2 equipment that you're going to be working on, and whenever we get the new content, we're going to be jumping to tier 3, which is unfortunately something I will not be able to show you in this guide. However, the mechanics are very similar. So very similarly in that fashion, we're going to look for the hammer NPC. And just like with our Lance Master, we're going to click on recycling. So there's two things to take away here. First of all, we're going to jump from legendary to artifact gear, because that one's overall in a better shape and has the potential to be better. Second of all, you're going to be seeing a difference here when swapping these gears. So I do have a weapon that has a grade of 95, which is almost perfect, so it's a very good, especially on weapons, this one's very important. For armor, not so much. However, still, the more the better. For weapons though, it definitely is good to aim for a higher grade rather than not lowball. And like, I have a bunch of here with like 44, 32, that's definitely something you don't want to burn your resources on. 95 is definitely a keeper though. So we're going to go to recycling, click on that one. And in the same fashion as we've seen on the Lance Master, we're going to be seeing the material that we can use. There's two differences here now. First of all, we're not going to carry over the exact levels, but we're losing 9 levels. So the plus 15 weapon is going to end up being plus 6. However, the gear score is going to remain identical. If you take a look at the top row here, both of these have a gear score of 915. And what that means is that we're going to start to work on the new gear, which is now going to be level 6, and try to enhance that all the way up to plus 15 again, which is good and bad, because at plus 6 the upgrading is still relatively easy. And going towards plus 15 again will definitely be another nerve-wracking task. The other difference here is that unlike shillings, this one also costs sapphire shards, and not too little in that cost. However, this only applies if you swap to the next item level tier. So for example, on my Lance Master, we swapped from purple to orange, like we changed colors, which meant better stats, but the item level was the same, so we only paid shillings. If we choose to go from this one, which starts at 840, and that one starts at 885, we do have to pay a heap amount of sapphire shards. However, that's just how the game works. So we're just going to do that, recycling, boom. And it tells you the same thing here, blah, blah, blah. Auxiliary mat gets destroyed, and yes, we definitely want that. So now our newfound weapon is going to be the same thing here, and boom, item level is unchanged. However, we do have the option to now just keep on upgrading this one. So if you go to Reclamation, you can see very similar here, but due to the fact that it's the last tier of equipment, we do need a better material. So we don't need crystals of Cereal anymore, but we need the large crystal of Cereal. And we also need the great sapphires of Sirion, whereas we... they do actually have the same name, but you can see that they're visually different. So that's probably a translation issue though, but don't be fooled by that. So the same thing, like I said, I could be doing the same thing over here with any of these. So for example, let's see if we have a good one. 61 I think is fairly decent. Let's take a look if we have anything better. Jacket 48, 47, 50, 32, 39, 25, 57, 59. So I think we had like a 59 helmet, but no, 61 helmet with not so great tripods, but we can work on that. And the gloves or shoulders are not that great either. We're just gonna do it with that one. So similar fashion here, we're gonna pay quite a bit of shillings, quite a bit of sapphire shards, and we're gonna ditch down to level 6. Yes, we definitely want to do that. And voila. Step by step. Where is it? The one with the arrow. That should be it, right? Back to the same item level we were before. However, we're having different pieces of equipment that will allow us to keep on working on that. And that is pretty much how you progress within each tier. So basically, our Landsmaster was using these pieces here, or actually he was using purple versions of the 840 gear, which is why we were able to swap to the orange version, so that is also droppable from Chaos Gear. And the next step would be to get the current Chaos Gear on my Landsmaster to plus 15, so to pretty much exactly the same state my Devil Hunter is, and then do the same thing. What I am not able to show you, and this is the ultimate final part of this video, is what happens when you transfer between tier 1 to tier 2 or tier 2 to tier 3 eventually once we get the content. This time you will lose 15 stages of your weapon. I haven't done that myself. This is just something that I've read and seen in guides. However, I was not able to verify or do this myself, but I'm fairly sure that this holds true. What that means is that basically being at plus 15 means that you're gonna be able to get to the next item level, because once the new content arrives, you're gonna be able to do everything it takes to get the next gear. So there's no point going over plus 15, especially since it's incredibly hard to keep on enhancing further. We're just gonna take a look at that. Actually, I unfortunately don't have the materials, so I would have to buy great Serum Sapphires. The chance to succeed after 15 is really, really low, and the costs are just getting worse and worse, plus the chance is getting increasingly less. So I don't think there really is a point to go past plus 15 unless you really try to min-max your character. You don't care about heavy diminishing returns on your upgrading, or not really diminishing returns in a sense that your upgrades are useless, but you're gonna invalidate a lot of the progress once new content comes out. Anywho, this is all for this guide. I know this has been a bit longer, but I hope this is now clearer. So the TLDR version is, you clear the content, whatever you can do, you get your character to level 50, start doing whatever dungeons you can, work up your gear to the first Chaos dungeon. You start from there, work your way through the first line of tier 1 equipment, go to the second tier of tier 1 equipment, go to the third type of tier 1 equipment. Once you're done with that, you jump to tier 2. And basically that's when you're doing something similar that I've shown you in the video, which finally leads to upgrading these pieces of equipment, which ultimately leads whenever we get the new content, because this is essentially the dead end. There is no higher gear at the moment in the game. So once we hit Papunica content, which supposedly is somewhere between 2 to 3 months, this is the next step that we're going to be doing, and we're going to be working on all of our gear pretty much from scratch again. Anywho, this is all. Like I said, I do hope this was helpful. If you have any more questions, if something was confusing, definitely feel free to shoot me a message. If you want to see me live, I do stream Mondays on 1700 CEST and other days as I announce them on Twitter, my Discord, on Twitch during streams, or on videos like these, so feel free to check that out. And if you want to shoot me a message on any of these platforms, feel free to do so. Last but not least, stay safe out there, my friends, stay healthy, and hopefully I will see you guys next time.